Hi there, and good evening from Germany. And in today's episode, I will be sharing an insight, a message that came to me yesterday when we were swimming somewhere in the Rhine River, and it was a message of being able to flow like water, or being able to live life gracefully like water, and being able to flow wherever the water goes. It's going fine and steady. And I feel like the water is about emotions. Being able to, it's like a message of you being able to control your emotions in a way that you haven't done before. So, if this is like, I feel like you're in the situation where you're kind of in a turmoil, or you're kind of in this situation where you feel confused, and it's like there are different things going inside you, but you don't have words to perfectly describe it, if that makes sense. So it's like the call now, or the message now, is, are you able, please bear with me with the noise pollution around me. So yeah, I'm trying to, like, because I'm seeing a lot of things in my head. Like, I'm seeing a lot of things. I'm trying to articulate it as much as I can that you can understand. Okay, so, well, like, it's like you being able to gracefully move in life. Whatever happens or whatever comes to you, you'll be able to receive it as whether an opportunity or an obstacle. It's your choice. Like, it's your choice to be miserable, or be happy with whatever, regardless of the situation you're in. Whether you're happy or sad, you're steady. You're being able to gracefully move on to the next chapter, or being able to keep your ground even in the state of chaos. So, I know this is really hard for you to deal with, because not a lot of us are able to face our shadows in a way that we confront them, because we hate confrontations in any way. And you hate confrontations. You don't like confrontations. You don't like conflict. You don't like being able to cause disharmony in the group, or being the cause of the conflict, or being the cause of something that causes tension within the air of the environment wherever you are in. So that's what I feel like. It was like a call for you to be able to be present in your present moment, and being able to receive answers, insights, in whatever shapes and forms they would come to you, with open arms and open heart, and non-judgmental, biased mind. Non-judgmental, unbiased mind. If that makes sense. I hope it does. I really hope it does, because it's really like, it's really hard for me to really like to to try to explain to you the complexity of the idea in my head, and all I'm relying on is the statement of flow gracefully with life like water. So whatever it means to you, so that's why I'm wearing blue. I didn't notice that actually. I actually didn't notice that I'm wearing blue for this message. Maybe my soul knows, my heart knows that, okay, I have to wear flowers, because flowers symbolize like like lush happiness, and it's time for you to be happy in whatever shape and form you like it to be. And I'm not encouraging the toxic happiness where you just be like, I don't know, like they call it toxic positivity, where you just be positive, and you just see the positive things in life without really acknowledging the negatives too. Because the negative stuff in life also brings answers to you because they bring lessons. And whenever we feel discomfort, because negative stuff like something like you're being scolded or you're being told or being called out for something because you're overstepping or you're being way too biased, you're way too, I don't know, and then they just call you out and then you feel this defensive mode, you have this defense mode. So when you're in defense mode, this is your ego acting out. Instead of welcoming it with non-judgmental mind and being able to sit with it and evaluate whether it's true or not, and why they're able to say it on you, or why are they able to say those to you. If they didn't say something, if they didn't see something, then they wouldn't have said anything about it. If that makes sense, does that make sense to you? I mean, so far. Yeah. Really? Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So in the last couple of minutes, like it's like, are you able to live your life like water? Because we tend to forget that earth also has water. We just see the earth as just land. But we forget that the earth comprised of 30% land and 70% water. And there's so many things that we haven't explored yet about how deep and how exquisite, exquisite, how we haven't explored our oceans so much that we tend to underestimate it. So we tend, similarly, you haven't explored your emotions yet. And yet, you tend to underestimate the power of your emotions in a form of subconscious, unconscious, impulsive decisions, conscious stupidity, and not being able to decide the right things for you because you fear of judgment, you fear nonconformity, you fear to express your creative self because you fear what other people would say about you. Because you care so much about how they say or what they say about you, and because you care so much, you forgot yourself. And please do take note that there are two forces playing out. You have the self and you have the others. They're both playing out, okay? The self and others. The self and others. There's always two sides of the street, okay? Left lane, right lane, okay? And by saying that, it's like you cannot ignore the self just because you're too focused on the others, on what others feel, what others think, what others feel, what others, always others, including like some others. Like it could start from your family, parents, siblings, spouse, children, your friends, neighbors, whatever. Like and going like it could go as far as the president or like the UN. Like there are others. Okay, these are others. Self is you, and self comprise of what? Unconscious, conscious, subconscious, and then you have the planets within you. You're not just your sun, you're also your moon and the planets, 8 planets, plus your distinct astrological codes that came with you when you were born, past lives, past selves, present self, which is you now, and then future self. Selves, actually. Because there are gazillions. There are gazillions of you in this whole wide universe. And your present self has the power to change the results and the consequences of what your future selves could look like. Depends on your decision every single day. Whether you like to be sad, you like to be miserable, it's up to you. And because we're so unaware of this, because we function under the traumatic circumstances, we operate under trauma, the spell of trauma, generational trauma, and as far as like maybe you have some DNA genetic defect or whatever, some kind of God given gift. I don't like to call it a disease, like, like, like autism, Down syndrome. These are God given gifts. They wouldn't have been given to you if there's no purpose for it. Okay, the universe, God, whatever you're believing in, He will not, the source will not give you anything that you couldn't handle and you cannot use. So if you feel like your emotions are way too deep, if you feel that your emotions are way too, how should I say, like way too abysmal. These are deep terms. If you think that your emotions are way too abysmal to consider and study, if you think that you're not ready to sit down with your emotions, how you really feel and think about things, then there is a possibility that these emotions, the 70% of Mother Gaia's surface, okay, will come out in storm surges towards the earth in the form of what? Cataclysmic flood that changes civilizations, that changes the continental drifts and shape of the earth. So similarly, if you don't have control of your emotions, if you cannot live gracefully with life based on how you feel, not because of what you know a lot of things, you're a smart person. I believe and strongly believe that you are a smart, discerning, logical person. And you earned it. You earned it. You're the smart person. And you even think that you're smarter than the person beside you. Okay? You even think that the others are morons and you're the smart person. You may even go to that level. But I know that you're a smart person and you are indeed a smart person. And you've been listening to your brain for most of your life. Your brain tells you what you consciously know. But we forget that our brain has the power to control your involuntary muscles. Okay? Your involuntary muscles include digestive system, cardiac, your respiratory. Okay? These are the muscles you cannot control. You can't control your intestines. You cannot control your short intestines. You cannot control your heart. You can control it in a way where you can slow down by breathing and just relax. That's how you can control it. But the others, you can control your arteries. Sorry, like you can control your lungs in a way where you can breathe, exhale, inhale. But you can control your arterioles. Right? You can control the the entire pulmonary system. You can control your throat, like what's going on in there. You can control it in a way like where you You feel ease. You don't feel like your throat constrict because of fear, because of not being able to speak out the truth that you want to say. And because you haven't explored your emotions yet, you haven't truly expressed who you truly are. You haven't expressed who you truly are. And because you fear so much of what other people think about you, you shut off the self. You ignore the self, thinking that the self is being selfish. Because we believe that thinking of self is selfish and it's bad, it's punishable. But we forget that it's all about balance. If you have too much of the self, then you can be narcissistic. But if you have the balance of others, then you can be compassionate. Instead of just being like this asshole who just think that I'm the smartest person in the room, why don't you go to the next class where you're the fool in that room, where you're the noob in that room, and feel that you're not the smartest room in the room. And you know what? That's the better room for you, where you feel like a fool because it inspires you, it grows you, it expands you. You will know that you have outgrown your environment if you feel like small, if you feel like you're not being able to exercise your fullest potential that's hiding inside you because you're not able to really speak out your truth. You're not being able to overcome your fear. You're not being able to identify the trauma and not being able to sit with it. And you're not being honest with yourself. And you live in denial. Are you living in denial? Are you living in denial? The dog says so. Yeah, 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 yeah. I mean, like in my previous video, let's just be honest with ourselves, okay? Let's just be honest with ourselves. Are you living in denial? Hmm? You have your emotions down there, hiding. Yeah. And I know you can hear it screaming, like maybe little whispers. Maybe it's like coming like, hey, do you hear me? Or it comes like in a song, your ears suddenly ring to some lines and you're not being able to understand it, but you kind of know the answer. That's like emotion. You haven't explored it yet. Your magical powers, you could say. You haven't explored it yet because you fear the uncertainty. Whatever your brain cannot explain is what you fear so much. Because it's safe to think with our brains, but it's not safe to think with our hearts, to think with our soul. Because when we think with our hearts, what will happen? Everything collapses. Your career, everything you've built from ego will fall apart. Everything. Like I'm not saying this like I'm scolding you or berating you. This is not my intention. I'm speaking from my heart space and I'm speaking that with love, okay? And as a friend, as your friend, it's like just because you're living in so much denial, you can't acknowledge what's actually going on around you. Look around, and look within. When you look within, what do you see? Our brain, the difference between thinking with our brain is like your brain will tell you exactly, like, some exact reason, like you're feeling this, doesn't make sense. Like it's like an exact word. There's an exact sentence. But if you think with the heart, sometimes You just feel the answer, but you just don't want to listen to it. You don't want to think with your soul because your soul will tell you something else. But because and that's why like because the brain is giving you the safe space, you continue running your life with deadlines, rush of life, hectic stuff of life, and go with the flow of normalcy and idiocracy and norm and conformity, even if something is killing you inside. Something is killing you inside, but you don't want to acknowledge it because it's painful. And because it's painful, you don't want to sit down with it. But now I'm encouraging you to sit down with it and ask yourself right now. I'm asking you, are you in denial? How do you how do you decide your life? Or how have you been deciding your life, by the way? How have you been deciding your life in the past, let's say, since grade school? Maybe since high school, Grundschule, Realschule, Gymnasium, if you're in Germany, or if you're in the Philippines, is it like from K-12, or maybe from like kindergarten, or maybe college, university? How have you been living your life? Have you been following your brain? Yes, right? You've been following your brain. Now, what if I ask you, what is that little voice asking you to do? Don't try to make sense of yeah, like don't try to make sense of it. Like just feel it. Like just sit down with it and setting aside what you know and like you're a smart person, so you probably have a lot of like 1,000 theories in mind. Set that aside, okay? Now ask yourself, what am I feeling right now? What is that little voice that's been bugging me for days, for weeks, for months, years? In my case, like for example, in my case, like when I was still writing fiction, it was like my conscious brain was like, yeah, I should be happy. I should be happy because I am writing. I have lots of clients. I am earning thousands of dollars. I should be happy, right? I should be happy. And I think I wrote it in my book, Essentialism and Self-Publishing, where it was like a history of how I ended up writing that book. Because it was like the part of the chapter of my life where I was just so convinced that my brain is telling me the right answers. And just the brain, okay? But during the time, I didn't recognize that by doing that, I was also supplementing it with drugs and alcohol. So it was really a great cocktail to destruction. So I was like, just to push myself to produce this number of articles, I really had to be high, or like I was really like abusive to substances to just to cope with the day, because after getting so high and being able to write that law, because this is business, I love what I do, I should be loving what I do, right? But actually I wasn't. And at that time it was like I'm trying to convince myself that this is the right path for me, because it was like I'm a writer now and I'm earning and this is working, right? But I wasn't, because I had to add something to make myself feel complete, because it was like I have to produce a lot, I have to produce a lot of articles and being able to push myself to to do something that I think should provide me that satisfaction. But at that time, I wasn't able to sit down with these feelings. That's like, oh, like, why was I taking substances in the first place? I wasn't asking myself why I was doing this in the first place. Why do I take substances in the early morning just to keep up, and then alcohol at night? Or sometimes I would go drown myself with alcohol just to forget that I'm doing this job and be able to access some parts of me that I haven't seen for a while. And I remember that time it was like me being unable to see the inner child or the childhood stuff that I used to see clearly. So, and by being able to sit down with it and being able to really recognize the reasons why I was doing that, now I'm sitting here with you sharing that part of my story. And if you are in that position right now, and if you are the person I'm describing, and if this is you, first of all, I feel sorry for you, and I feel like I'm really sincerely sorry for what you're going through. And if I could give you my hugs, could give you my hugs and kisses. I mean, seriously, it's hard. Life is hard on you. Life has been so hard on you that you don't deserve to make it worse for the next chapter of your life. Okay, you deserve better and you deserve a good life. So please consider your emotions as part of your, like part of your, I don't want to say regimen. It's like, don't just listen to what your brain says. You also have to listen what your emotions are telling you, because your emotions are magical instruments of what you call the source, God, universe, whatever it is you're believing. Your emotions will tell you something. Answers, intuition, instinctive decisions that will actually change your life for the better, but you're not listening to it. So yeah, and be able to flow gracefully with life like water. And I hope that this message is clear, and I hope that I was able to talk something like this that doesn't really offend, because it's really with compassion, because I know how it is to go through something like that, and I know it's not been easy on you, and maybe no one has ever told you something like this, or no one has ever really truly understand you for who you truly are, and now you deserve to be heard. You deserve to be acknowledged. Sorry for my voice. Oh my gosh. And I hope that someday you will be able to find the courage to speak up your truth and be able to express who you truly are in whatever shape and form. In my case, it's writing fiction. So now if you're asking, how are you today? How are you now? I should say like better than before, better than years ago, because I don't take substances anymore. And I do still drink alcohol, but not really like before, where it's, we call it in the Philippines wasak. And my sister knows how wasak I was. And yeah, so that's how I am right now, and I feel great, and I feel lighter that I'm able to share this message with you, and I know that this message is needed to be told and shared, because this is your journey. Okay, and I want you to feel, be more compassionate with yourself, because you have been too hard on yourself. You've been too hard on yourself, and you've been hardworking. You've been working so hard for this dream or career, whatever you're in right now, and for this life that you're in or have right now. You've been working so hard to reach this level of life. And it's also not right for you to ignore what's in there inside, okay? Because this, if you ignore the self, sorry, if you ignore the self, you will have, it's no surprise later on, you'll have some hypertension. Hypertension is not being able, he's just using food. This is a result, like cancer and all that. Like these are like the results of unconscious and subconscious suppressed feelings and thoughts, like blockage of anything, like not being able to speak your truth, not being able to say what you really truly feel and think about things, about events, about, then it will cause some problems here. If you have problems with anxiety and whatever, then you will have problems with your digestive system. If you have problems with not being able to access your true self, then they will manifest in physical ailments. They will be manifesting in a form of whatever, like you feel like the curse is around you, or you feel like something inside is killing you. Okay. And then it reminds me of what my sister saying. Like she asked me today, like, what's your secret? What's the secret? What is it like in Europe that you look blooming? You glow so much. You glow so much. This is the answer. Okay, this is not about being in Europe or not being in Africa. Wherever I will be on Earth, okay, I'm bringing this happiness inside me. Whether what chaos. That's why my narcissistic haters hate me, because they think that they could put me down and pull me down because of what they're doing to me and to the loved ones, to my loved ones. They think they could pull me down by doing something that they think and assume will put me off and dim my light again. No, because the self is there. So whatever comes my way, challenges, obstacles, they will be like, I will be able to flow gracefully with life. And now it's with you. And I hope that, yeah, you'll be able to flow with life gracefully like water. And it will take time. And please be patient with yourself. And again, be compassionate and love yourself. Start loving yourself in a way that you haven't done before. Because it's about balance. Okay? Balance. So that's all for today. And if you'd like to know more about me, all the links that you need are in the description below. And if you'd like to share your thoughts and comments, leave them in the comment section below too. And yeah, I love you so much and I care for you so much as I care and love myself. With love, peace, and harmony with self and others. See you in the next one. Cheers!